Hey y'all, welcome to Candid Conversations with Carla. Well, today we are talking about things aren't always what they seem. All right, so when I'm thinking about um, how things appear and maybe our perception of a thing, I'm usually referring to how we perceive a thing and how we internalize those things, right? Because a lot of times we are actually looking at everyone else's life as if they don't have certain problems or they don't have certain insecurities or they don't deal with this or they may not deal with that. And maybe their life is just so much better than mine, right? But not so. We have to really take a deeper dive and a closer look at anything, right? Not everyone is going to be vocal about what they are going through or what it took to obtain a certain thing. And remember that with anything, there is a process, right? There's a journey, okay? And some of those journeys, maybe we can talk about those things, or maybe we can't, or maybe certain people are more open, and maybe certain people aren't, right? And so, what I really want to point out with all of this is that everyone else's life is not better than yours. Okay, you are not picked out to be picked on, right? And of course, we're talking about, and I'm not talking about like trials and tribulations, right? Or if you're chosen, right? But what I'm more so talking about is that you're not experiencing something that is brand new or that is isolated to you. And understand that the next person, their relationship may look great, right? But what you don't see is that they had to forgive that person over and over and over for cheating, or over and over and over for gambling, or they had to work with a person to bring them up to where they needed to be, right? But all you see is the pictures on social media. All you see is the photo ops. All you see is the vacations and the celebratory events, right? Thinking that you're missing out on something that you really have no idea of the magnitude of what's going on with what you see, right? So, once again, things are not always what they seem. I also want to kind of point out to when you may have a disagreement with someone, right? And you may only see it from your point of view. But maybe, and this is, I want to touch on this because sometimes in disagreements or when you're looking at an enemy, right? You may assume that there are certain things going on, or you may assume that they are a certain way based on your perception, your experience with that person, but you don't have the full picture, right? And so, just because you don't agree with them, just because you are at odds with them, does not mean that you have the right to fully judge, make a full judgment about that person and where they are, right? And I'm going to give an example with that. So, let's say, for example, you know, you get in a disagreement with this person because they didn't pay you your money back. And, they are trying to explain to you, well, look, I know that I said I was going to give you your money back on such and such time, but, something came up. And they didn't give a full description of what came up, right? and all you see is red because you wanted your money back when they said they were going to pay it back, right? But what you can't see is maybe they were newly diagnosed with cancer and they have medical bills that they're having to pay for, or an expense came up for that they didn't want you to know about because it was that personal, right? Now, I know this is a touchy subject because we're talking about the favor that you did for someone, right? And this is where we go into, really forgiveness, right? And so when we're talking about, and just even in that subject, right? Don't give what you can't, what is necessary to you, right? If you don't lend it, if you just have to have it back because it may not come back, right? And I know, once again, that this is a touchy subject and you want to help that person, right? But you just never know the fullness of what someone may be going through. You don't have the full scope. You are not omnipotent, right? And just because someone actually, or you did a favor for that person, does not obligate them to actually give you the full rundown of everything they are going through. Okay. So I just kind of wanted to just put this out here that things are not always what they seem. Okay. Just because someone has a smile on their face, we can't assume that everything is wonderful in their life. Or just because someone is, you never see them actually, stressed, or you don't think that they're stressed. Maybe they don't wear it on their face. Maybe people are good at covering up their depression. Maybe people are, used to being successful, and now they are dealing with a challenging season, and you don't know it because they don't show it. So check on your friends, and I just want to also just make sure that we don't internalize what looks like a certain thing, right? You're not the only one who's going through something. You're not the only one who, or you're not always the victim, right? Because someone is looking at you and, they're remembering something that you did. So this is why it's important for us to be forgiven, you know? This is why we have to handle people like we want to be handled. And I just really want us to make sure that our hearts and minds are clear. And I know this is, this is a touchy subject, especially if it is concerning your feelings, and how, you may have been done. But time is too short. Life is too short. So let's forgive one another. Let's walk in love with one another and understanding. And that's all I just wanted to kind of put this out there. That's all I had for today. I will see you guys next week at 7:30 on here on Candid Conversations with Carla. All right.